Diogo Jota. Diogo Jota's death is, without question, one of the most tragic losses football has ever witnessed. Born on December 4, 1996 in Porto, Portugal, Jota grew into one of the most electric forwards of his generation. Fast, sharp, clinical in front of goal. By 2022, he'd made over 100 appearances for Liverpool, and he was a key piece of Portugal's national team heading into the World Cup. A serious injury, though, kept him out of the tournament he'd worked so hard to reach. Then came July 3, 2025. Jota and his younger brother, Andre Silva, were driving through central Spain in a Lamborghini Huracan, heading toward Liverpool for pre-season. It should have been a simple road trip. It wasn't. According to the Spanish Civil Guard, at around 12:30 a.m., while overtaking another vehicle on the A52 highway near Zamora, the Lamborghini suffered a tire blowout. It veered off the road, flipped multiple times, and burst into flames. By the time emergency crews arrived, the car was already engulfed. Firefighters fought the blaze, but it was too late. Both brothers were found inside the wreckage, burned beyond recognition. Investigators later discovered skid marks stretching over 30 meters, proof that in his final seconds, Jota fought desperately to regain control. The football world was shattered. Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal's captain and Jota's teammate, gave an emotional tribute that brought fans around the world to tears. Anatoli Kojimyakin. Anatoli Kojimyakin's death is one of the strangest, most tragic accidents in football history. Born on February 14, 1953, in Moscow, Kojimyakin played for Dynamo Moscow and the Soviet national team, and by the age of 21, he was already considered one of the most promising young talents in Soviet football, having represented his country in the 1974 World Cup qualifiers. On the evening of October 13, 1974, after a routine training session, Kojimyakin returned to his apartment building in central Moscow and stepped into the old Soviet-era elevator. After the doors closed, it suddenly stalled between two floors. With no emergency phone and no way to call for help, he tried to pry the doors open using his hands and the edge of his shoe. He managed to force a small gap, wide enough to squeeze through, but just as he lifted himself upward, the elevator's motor unexpectedly reactivated. The cabin jerked downward violently, pinning him between the moving platform and the shaft wall. The impact was instant. Medical reports later confirmed he died from massive chest and neck crush injuries. A young star, taken in a freak accident no one could have predicted. Gaetano Scirea. Gaetano Scirea wasn't just a defender, he was a legend. Born in 1953, he captained Juventus and Italy, lifted the 1982 World Cup, and famously never once received a red card in his entire career. In 1989, while scouting for Juventus in Poland, the small car he was traveling in suddenly crossed into the opposite lane and collided head-on with a truck. In the trunk, cans of gasoline, common at the time due to fuel shortages. The impact ruptured them instantly. The car exploded into flames. Scirea and two others were killed on the spot. Italy mourned one of its greatest icons, José Luis Cuciuffo. José Luis Cuciuffo met one of the most tragic and untimely deaths in World Cup history. Born on September 1, 1959, in Córdoba, Argentina, Cuciuffo was known for his leadership and physical strength at the back, playing for clubs like Vélez Sarsfield, Boca Juniors, and Nacional. He was a key part of the Argentine squad that won the 1986 FIFA World Cup under Diego Maradona. In June of 2004, Cuciuffo went on a hunting trip in the remote areas of Buenos Aires province near San Blas Bay. As he and his companions trekked through the dense, uneven terrain in search of game, a stray shot from a fellow hunter's firearm suddenly struck him in the abdomen. The impact was immediate. He collapsed to the ground, clutching his stomach in agony. His companions called for emergency help, while desperately trying to control the bleeding with makeshift pressure from jackets and clothing. An ambulance arrived after tense, agonizing minutes and rushed him to the nearest hospital. But despite the doctor's urgent efforts, his injuries were too severe. He died later that day. The autopsy confirmed the gunshot wound had caused massive internal bleeding. Cuciuffo became the first member of Argentina's legendary 1986 World Cup winning squad to pass away. Alberto Gallardo. Alberto Gallardo suffered one of the most shocking fates ever faced by a World Cup player. Born on May 4, 1912, in Santa Fe, Argentina, Gallardo was a talented forward known for his pace and powerful shooting, representing Argentina at the 1934 FIFA World Cup in Italy and playing for top clubs like Club Atlético Huracán and Colón. In his prime, he was admired for his fearless style and natural leadership. But on a February evening in 1961, everything changed. Gallardo became embroiled in a violent argument at his home in Santa Fe, a heated confrontation with his wife, fueled by jealousy. According to police reports, he was prepared to kill her. In a desperate attempt to protect his mother, his own son, David, grabbed a pistol from a nearby drawer. As the confrontation reached its peak, he fired at his father. The shot struck Alberto in the chest. He collapsed immediately, lifeless on the floor. When authorities arrived, they found him dead at the scene, the gun still clutched in his son's trembling hands. The incident stunned all of Argentina. Years later, Gallardo's grandson, Damian Gallardo, turned the haunting family history into a film titled Terror Familiar, forever preserving the story of a legend whose life ended in heartbreaking violence. If this story moved you, hit subscribe and tell me in the comments which story I should cover next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.